Hello and welcome to Last Week in the Prem, or LWP for short. Because let's be honest, this is the L version of FTW. But Near's too busy hanging out with Lando Norris to make it every week, so you're stuck with me. I'm sorry. And for all the F&G fans who are watching this, I just want you to know, I hung out with him once in London, and that dude fucks hard. But yeah, this is a show where I give you the weekly recap on all the things that happened in the big league across the pond. And here we are in the opening week of the Premier League. Favorite kids, because we only got 37 weeks left. Oh, and before we begin, if you want to see my live reactions to all these games as they go down, go ahead, follow me on IG at thefatasian official. But without further ado, let's begin with the first game of the season, which occurred last Friday, where Fulham had the opportunity to do so much for the culture that is Hate Watch Corner, as they faced off against the meme dream team that is my beloved Manchester United. Interestingly, none of the big name signings made it into the starting 11 for Man United. No De Ligt, no Big Xerxes, no Lenny Yoro because he broke his foot and he's out for 3 months. We don't gotta talk about that anymore. But intriguingly, you know who was in the starting line for Man United? Mazraoui, a man who I didn't even dignify by using his real name in the preview show because I thought he was just gonna be a depth piece. No, he's in the starting 11 for the opener. And Mr. Mazraoui, I apologize, for I was unfamiliar with your game because homie can actually play a little bit of offense. Yeah, after 2 years of football terrorism that is Aaron Wan-Bissaka, this new kid from Bayern can actually play a little 1-2, progress the ball forward. I was like, oh, do we all of a sudden have a Man City right back? He just made play on that right flank so dynamic, and simply something I haven't seen in many a year as a Manchester United fan. And while Joshua Zirkzee is going to get all the headlines, for me, the man of the match was Mr. Mazraoui. I don't want to oversell it, but if he can stay healthy, he's going to change build-up play on the right flank of Man United. The issue is he never stays healthy, so I don't even know why I'm still talking about this. But I'm going to enjoy it while he is healthy, okay? Just let me enjoy some things. And I'll admit it, it was refreshing to see Man United play a little bit of decent football for once. You know, create a few chances here and there. We probably should have scored a couple of times in the first half, but we didn't. Bruno Fernandes didn't bring his best game in this one, and we just couldn't find the breakthrough, which allowed Fulham to stay in the game and do something very funny. These were the types of games last season that Man United would just let slip away in the dying moments. But alas, I'm sorry, Hate Watch Corner. You're gonna have to wait another week, as Dutch Heisenberg brought on Xerxes late, and he did what the Dutch Firmino does. He linked up play well, and then grabbed himself a winner near the end of the match. And with that, the Red Devils get 3 points. They're on top of the league, baby! Feels good. I remember how this used to feel. And let me savor this, because for those 24 hours is probably the last time you're gonna be able to feel this way this year. Alright, moving on to the next big matchup of the weekend, and that was Liverpool versus Ipswich Town. Arne Slot's honeymoon continues. Although, I mean, big caveat here, Ipswich Town is a newly promoted side, and most likely they're going right back down. And even before this match came on, Liverpool were kind of taking an L in the recruitment department, as they're the only Premier League team who's yet to sign a single person in the transfer window, and the main target they were going after, a DM, Zuamendi, has just rejected them. So they're still in search of their main weakness in the squad, a defensive midfielder. But they did not need one to beat Ipswich Town. And yeah, they're not the highest level of competition, but you play who's in front of you, and Liverpool handled themselves well. Although, in the first half, they were looking a little bit lackluster. They gave Ipswich Town a couple of chances that maybe a superior opponent could have punished, but credit to the dirty Slot. Something wasn't working in the first half. He goes ahead, takes out Kwanzaa, puts on Konate, and in the second half, Liverpool looked fantastic. And with the elevation and energy, in the 60th minute, Trent plays a beautifully weighted ball into Salah, who catches his defender asleep. He's through on the right flank and puts it on a platter for Jota, who cannot miss from that distance. 5 minutes later, Szoboszlai plays in Salah, who makes it 2-0. And this was a record-breaking goal for the Egyptian, because this is the 9th consecutive time he has scored in the opener of the Premier League, beating out legendary names like Wayne Rooney, Frank Lampard, and Alan Shearer. Yes, we are witnessing Premier League royalty, and I must tip my hat to this small Egyptian king. A lot of talk has been made of Arne Slot following up Jurgen Klopp. It's always tough to follow up the big man, but he did inherit an excellent side. And as long as he gives them structure, Liverpool are going to be all right. They're probably the third best team in the league right now. Next up, we have the heir apparent Arsenal versus Wolves. And sadly, no sexy Caliafori in the starting lineup for Arsenal, but they didn't need him. Arsenal looked as fluid as ever. Just a well-trained amoeba, creating chance after chance. And eventually, a brilliant cross in by Bukayo Saka finds the head of a streaking Kai Havertz to make it 1-0. Yeah, it was pretty much easy mode for Arsenal. David Raya didn't have to make a save until the 35th minute. And it's just crystal clear watching this first round of games that Arsenal and Man City are just a class above every other team in the league. Wolves come out better in the second half. They turn up the energy, but sadly, they didn't have the quality. But you know who does have the quality? Bukayo Saka. It's pretty fucking good. And after a good spell by Wolves, the star boy for Arsenal collects the ball on the right wing, drives inside the box like Iron Robin, and then powers a shot in at the near post. Look at this goal and tell me you don't see Iron Robin. And yeah, the game was done after that. Arsenal were really fucking good. Newsflash. And some people are even saying this might be their year. They might just go ahead and be better than Pep Guardiola and Man City. Those people are stupid, but people are saying this. Now I'm bearing the lead here because all of this, window dressing, not that important. important, trying to distract you from the real story of this match. And that was Wolves player Yerson Mosquera getting dangerously close to Brazilian Gabriel Jesus' sweet butthole. Yes, now let me paint the full picture. Yerson was already lucky to escape a yellow card or even a red card early in the match when he came down on Kai Havertz, and it appeared that he went for the chokehold. But since it was so brief, and you could make the argument that he was setting his fall, no caution was given, which then emboldened young Yerson to do a little bit more shithousery. And that was when, late in the second half, while he was walking by Gabriel Jesus, who had bent down to adjust some of his footwear, Yerson inexplicably reaches over and grasps the right butt cheek of the young Brazilian. And if we zoom in here, you can see that his pinky gets dangerously close to the Brazilian's no-no button. Gabriel Jesus did not like that, no, and he goes ahead and he pushes Yerson over. Yerson goes and says, what is going on? And then motions asking for a card, and the ref obliges, giving a yellow card to Gabriel Jesus. Yerson, through all of this, through choking, through butthole grabbing, no caution, no yellow card, no red card, not even a foul. Gabriel Jesus obviously is pleading with the ref, but how do you tell a guy that another man tried to invade your anus without it sounding funny? So I think Yerson has found a cheat code, and honestly, he should keep on doing these types of things until they ban him for it or he gets caught. This is the beautiful game within the beautiful game. And if it takes a pinky and the stinky to get a red card out of the other team, then this is what it takes. This is the most competitive league in the world, right? I need an anti-butthole rule in the Premier League, because too long have players' chocolate starfishes been exposed and vulnerable. We must protect young men's sphincters from the wandering, wanton hands of opponents, because if a man named Jesus could not turn the other cheek when his right cheek was clapped, what are we even doing? So what I'm trying to say is, NBA fans rejoice. We found the Draymond Green of the Premier League. And then the big game of the weekend was Man City versus Chelsea. And in this, we got Pep Guardiola versus the Pep Guardiola you ordered off a Temu. This is the luxury of Man City. They didn't even play their A team. They played about 30% of their starters. Man City made it look easy. A routine walk in the park. Dare I say, a boring 2-0 victory. The spiciest thing that happened took place before the match. After Spain won the Euros, Cucurella was caught on video singing his song. And he was feeling himself. I mean, he was fantastic at the Euros. But in this song, he calls out Erling Haaland and telling him that he should be scared because he's coming. Yo, he's so blasted when he's singing this. And Haaland took that personally. As in the opening goal, ball is played into Erling Haaland, and Cucurella comes across to try to tackle him. And Haaland just takes his right hand and swipes him away like he's a fly as he goes ahead and opens up his account for the Premier League season. Yeah, you're not on Spain anymore, kid. You're back on Chelsea. And as for Haaland, this is his 100th appearance for Manchester City, and he scored 91 goals. Absurd. Just fucking absurd. I hate this team so fucking much. They're so good. Chelsea did manage to look a little dangerous every time that Cole Palmer picked up the ball, and that was about it. Yeah, this game never felt in doubt. And late in the second half, Kovacic picks up the ball. In midfield, he drives toward the box. No one closes him down, so he thinks, I'll have a pop, and finds its way into the back of the net. And then Kovacic decides to hit him with a respectful no celebration, which I find honestly more disrespectful. Like, please, celebrate. With the 2-goal lead, it was over. And hate watch corner, we got one. We got one this week. And yes, it was against Man City. It's against the best team in the league. It's against one of the best teams ever. But things did not look good for Temu Guardiola. I think we're gonna eat good this year. It's just a feeling. Yeah, it was so bad that Todd Bowley, the chairman for Chelsea, left even before full time was over. These American owners give no fucks. They do not give a shit. They're like, all right, I'm gonna go back to watching the Dodgers. And a reminder that they gave Championship Guardiola a 5-year contract. This has to be a money laundering scheme. There's no way. There's no fucking way. But now, let's move on to Sleeper Watch or Dark Horse Watch. I'll come up with a catchier name for this segment. But first up, Aston Villa looked good up against West Ham. Didn't look like they missed David Luiz and Tabby at all. In fact, they scored a goddamn goal near instantly through their near boy, Onana, a thundering header off of a corner that instantly endeared him to the Villa faithful. But West Ham, the scrappy as ever, they find a way, they get a pen, they pull one back. And that's when Unai made the tough decision to take off the ineffectual Ollie Watkins and bring on the young mercurial John Duran. And he was rewarded with the talented youngster sweeping home a cutback to earn all 3 points. And this one had a little extra spice to it, as the 20-year-old almost went to West Ham this past summer. But here he is, on opening day, being a hero for the villains. Also in other notes, Mona Sands for the goal that never was. Crystal Palace star and England international Eze scored this absolute screamer, but it was disallowed for a minor foul in the box. What the fuck is this? No. What are we doing? What are we doing if this does not count for a goal? Bro, I don't give a shit about VAR. Let it stand for the culture. We had a goal in a season contender that no one's going to know about now. Please, streets, remember. Please remember. And then we had the darling dark horses of last season, who are now sit on top of the Premier League. But Matoma with the diploma opened up the scoring for Brighton as they beat the shit out of Everton, who went down to 10 men early, and Sean Dyche might be on the hot seat. Or is this all part of Sean Dyche's master plan? Because we all know he is a relegation escape artist. So putting his team dead bottom of the league to start the campaign off is playing right into his wheelhouse. Chestnut checkers, kids. Speaking of 10 men, Newcastle had to play with 10 when 30 minutes in, Fabian Schär kind of loses his mind and headbutts a player. And honestly, this dickhead made a meal of it. He barely touched him. But red card's a red card, held up by VAR. Europe, how do you fuck up instant replay this bad? Like, you can clearly see that he barely touches him. But here's the crazy thing about it. It didn't even matter, as McCarthy loses his goddamn mind, passes it directly to a Newcastle player who slots it across and then passes it into the net. An awesomely embarrassing moment for McCarthy, who seemed oddly calm about the whole situation. And Newcastle were able to hold on with 10 men up against Southampton to get all 3 points. Nice little coup for them, although missing Fabian Schär for 3 weeks is going to be a little bit rough. It might be time for the Saudis to open up those coffers, maybe buy a defender or two. And then we get to the last game of the week. It was Tottenham Hotspurs versus newly promoted Leicester City. And it was good to see Leicester back in the league. But how would they fare against Team Asia? You guys don't know what I'm talking about. Of course, I call them Team Asia because they have Heung-min Son. They just signed a Heung-min Son regen. And the big name signing of the summer was Dominic Solanke, who apparently is the biggest weeb in the Premier League. He hits an anime pose every time he scores. But would he hit us with a Goku on his debut? And let me tell you, Spurs came out incredible. The Fighting Aussie had them playing some of the most dominant football of the weekend. Just wave after wave, chance after chance. And finally, the dam breaks. A beautiful ball in from James Maddison finds the noggin of Poro, who guides it elegantly into the back of the net. And you had to say it had been coming for a while. Leicester barely got a whiff of the ball. One of the most one-sided halves of football I had ever seen. Only issue, though, they only scored 1 goal. And coming out of the second half, Premier League legend and human land shark himself, Jamie Vardy, just crushes the Red Bull, scores an equalizer, and then signals to Spurs fans that he has won Premier League and their entire club has 0. Because this was the most Spursy thing that Spurs could do. After completely controlling the game, they let Leicester score on their first shot on target, and then the players proceeded to mentally crumble before our eyes. In all honesty, they were lucky to escape with a point, because Leicester were the ones who looked more likely to score in the second half. Yeah, you can see how defeated
Postecoglou
was after this match, and I don't blame him. And to play that well and draw to newly promoted Leicester, it has to be a psychological blow to this team. And I suppose it's the main weakness of Tottenham. They have no real leadership out on the pitch. Until they find someone, some fiery character that can go ahead and pick everyone up, slap them in the face, and tell them to get their shit together. Then they'll never be anything more than 4th place. Which is okay, because they might be a candidate for a hate watch 2024, 2025. Listen, kids, laugh if you don't want to cry. So yeah, that was the first round of games. Let's see how the table looks. Look, it's Brighton. It's fucking Brighton on top. Then you have the usual suspects behind them. Man City, Arsenal, Liverpool. Man United got 3 points, but we'll see how long they last there. Of course, Spurs just faltered. But the best part of the table, Chelsea's in the relegation zone, baby. Hey, Chelsea fan, how does it feel that to look at your team on the table, you gotta accept all the cookies? Don't reject them. No, you don't deserve to reject the cookies. Accept them. But I'm just joshing with you. It's only been 1 week, guys. And enjoy it. Football's back. It's Christmas for us sports fans. And we're doing this for 37 more weeks. So come on back next week and see who will be in Hate Watch Corner then. Alright, that's going to be it for me, the Fat Asian. Thank you guys for watching. If you did enjoy, smash a hard direct nipple into the like button. Helps me infinitely in this godforsaken algorithm. Of course, as usual, thank you all my patrons keeping me alive and well. Personal shout out to Robert Matai and Elm. I'm going to message you back. Thank you to Alex for helping me edit this video. You're the real MVP. And yeah, until next time, boys, stay thick.